Reverend Donna Jean Guerrera, and good morning, members of Harmony.
Good morning.
You can feel me shaking, right? Well, anyway, today I'm going to talk about the election. And if you're like me, you're probably sick and tired of hearing the election. You've been bombarded by the media until your ears are absolutely burning. But as Reverend Donna Jean Guerrera said, this election in American history is so important in so many ways. And yes, as metaphysicians, we're supposed to be Switzerland. We're supposed to remain, can't hear me, I'm sorry. We're supposed to remain neutral. But I'm asking you, as American citizens, to please exercise your right to vote. And one of the reasons I am asking you to do that is because I'm going to share with you a story. And it's called The Courage of Women. This is the story of our grandmothers and great-grandmothers as they lived only 90 years ago. It was not until 1920 that women were granted the right to go to the polls and vote. A reminder on the importance of using one voice. The women were innocent and defenseless, and by the end of the night, they were barely alive. 40 prison guards, wielding clubs with their warden's blessing, went on a rampage against the 33 women wrongly convicted of obstructing sidewalk traffic. They beat Lucy Byrne, chained her hands to the cell bars above her head, and left her hanging for the night, bleeding and grasping for air. They hurled Doris Lewis into a dark cell, smashed her head against an iron bed, and knocked her out cold. Her cellmate, Alice Kusu, thought Lewis was dead and suffered a heart attack. Additionally, affidavits describe the guards grabbing, dragging, beating, choking, slamming, pitching, twisting, and kicking the women. Thus unfolded the Night of Terror on November 15th, 1917, when the warden at the Okolana workhouse in Virginia ordered his guards to teach a lesson to the suffragists imprisoned there because they dared to picket Woodrow Wilson's White House for the right to vote. For weeks, the women's only water came from an open pail. Their food, all of it colorless slop, was infested with worms. When one of their leaders, Alice Paul, embarked on a hunger strike, they tied her to a chair, forced a tube down her throat, and poured liquid into her until she vomited. She was tortured like this for weeks until word was smuggled to the press. So, refresh my memory, some women don't vote this year because we have carpool duties, we have to get to our work, our vote doesn't matter, it's raining, and it goes on. And it says, all these years later, voter registration is still my passion, but the actual act of voting had become less personal for me, more rote. Frankly, voting often felt more like an obligation than a privilege. Sometimes it was inconvenient. My friend Wendy, who is my age and studied women's history, saw the HBO movie too. When she stopped by my desk to talk about it, she looked angry. She was with herself. One thought kept coming back to me as I watched that movie, she said. What would these women think of the way I use or don't use my right to vote? All of us take it for granted now, not just younger women, I know I do myself, But those of us who take it for granted now don't seek to learn. The right to vote, she said, had become valuable to her all over again. Now, HBO released the movie on video and DVD. I wish all history, social studies, and government teachers would include the movie in their curriculum. I want it shown on Bronco Night, too, and anywhere else women gather. I realize this isn't our usual idea of socializing, but we are not voting in the numbers that we should be. And I think a little shock therapy is in order. It's jarring to watch Woodrow Wilson and his cronies try to persuade a psychiatrist to declare Alice Paul insane so that she could be permanently institutionalized. And it is inspiring to watch the doctor refuse. Alice Paul was strong, he said, and brave. That didn't make her crazy. The doctor admonished the men. Courage in women is often mistaken for insanity. Yeah. So please, if you are so inclined, pass this not only to all women, but to everyone. Encourage them to exercise their right to vote. And in regards to the candidates, regardless of what their ideology is, give them credit for stepping up to the plate, for having the courage and strength to stand up for their convictions. God bless America, land of the free, that we are able to have people that are able to stand up and speak what they believe to be the truth. Too many places today in this world, we're not able to stand up and speak the truth. That is not possible. And when Wednesday morning comes, we will have a new president in the United States of America. If it is not your candidate, do not go into the fear mode. Remember that everything is in divine right order. And now, I'd like you to take just a few minutes before we go into a formal meditation, and I want you to ask higher power to protect and guide our great nation, the United States of America, to give the new president the strength and the courage to protect all rights of all the people, to be knowledgeable and compassionate, and to realize that we as humans are all equal. And now, I will turn the rest of the sermon over to Reverend Cherie, who will conduct us in a formal meditation. Thank you.